these RMDs. Now, of course, Nazarian's was playing that Destro Warlock, and I'm not sure that Fabio is has played it too much, but that could certainly be an option for them going forward if they decide to use Fabio. If he's practicing that Destro, I'm not entirely sure if he has or not. Regardless, game one is going to be the turbo into the RMD, as we expected. Combat Rogue, Thessia, he was on subtlety duty when he 3-0'd NG Blue, now playing that combat. We'll have to see how it works out for him.
Yeah, let's see how they get this opener. The opener is very important in this matchup for the Yacht Boys. Botar is moving in stealth away from his team. This is kind of not the way that Botar usually plays the opener. He likes to make sure that he has Hots on his team and full mushroom down behind the pillar, but he's actually far away from his team. So Swapsy's going to get sapped. I'm curious if Blizzo is going to go for this Blade Storm. Yes, he goes for the Blade Storm, predicting a stun and an opening on himself. Botar jumps out of stealth with 3 of those Force of Nature Trents. Those are going to heal quite a lot. He preemptively Ironbark Swapsy, so I'd like to see them open on Blizzo maybe here, but they're just stopping them before they can get anything going. Miley's stunned. Thasia is stunned. Gelu's down to half HP already. Toxic Youth have diffused this opener very well so far, but finally the Yacht Boys initiate an attack. Full Ring of Frost on Botar, full clone on Blizzo, immediate Shamanistic Rage from Swapsy to answer the Adrenaline Rush out from Thasia. Now a full Cyclone out of the Ring of Frost. Well played from Miley. He needs to keep this CC chain going if they maybe want to get a kill here. They go for the half blind. Is Botar going to trinket the half blind? Botar is known for always trinketing blind, but this time he's going to hold on to his trinket.
Yeah, he holds on to the trinket on the DR blind. It could have been an issue for him, but he gets the NS out. They're going to trade out that cooldown. So that's a pretty good opener for Toxic Youth overall. Botar holds onto his trinket. In fact, the entire team do. And that was really just because of that Blade Storm from Blizzo. He Blade Stormed, he kicked the Frostbolt on Gelo, so there wasn't really any damage coming out. Now we'll have to see what the Yacht Boys can do. There's no Ironbark, there's no Shamanistic Rage for 5 seconds. Can they get the CC going? But Botar's just sitting in bear. He knows they don't have the Ring of Frost available, so it's going to be really difficult for them to land the CC as long as he doesn't shift out.
Yeah, Botar is caught in that deep freeze. He's looking for a Ring of Frost, but he doesn't manage to land it, so Miley goes in to try and get his hands dirty. He lands a full Cyclone, but Botar is able to get that Iron Bark up. Without this Iron Bark, Swapsy could be in a lot more trouble than he actually is, and this looks like they decided to trade the Vigilance now as well. A bit of an overlap there. I'm not entirely sure if they needed to use both, and Thasia's just going to retreat to say, hey, there's the Vigilance. We got what we wanted. We weren't really trying to get that, so Thasia's going to maybe look for a re-stealth. Looks like Blizzo wants to bring some aggression over onto Miley as he's caught into that Stormbolt. Recklessness gets popped. Blizzo's looking for blood, but now he's going to get stopped. Caught into the cheap shot with no trinket. The full Cyclone coming out from Miley. A good setup here from the Yacht Boys, but they don't get the Ring of Frost again. I believe Swapsy was able to trinket and interrupt that Ring of Frost. Well played from Swapsy to break up that CC.
Yeah, that was a beautiful play from Swapsy. Definitely nice from him. He knew he could stop the Ring of Frost since Botar had shifted the Deep Freeze. There was no Polymorph available, but it does lean that thanks to Blizzo trinketing and vigilancing earlier, which maybe we said wasn't needed, and Botar actually getting caught up into the sheep now. They're going to force the Shamanistic Rage here onto Swapsy. This could be a bit of trouble on the side of Toxic Youth. There's no trinkets on the DPS, and Botar does have his trinket available, but there's blind to answer for that. The Deep Freeze now coming out. Are they going to blind him to get that trinket? Thessia running away a little bit. Doesn't look like he's going to go for it right now, but they force the Shamanistic Rage on Swapsy, who now has nothing, and I believe the Smoke Bomb is available, you can see, for Thessia.
Yeah, it looks like they're going after Miley. This is a very aggressive move for Toxic Youth, considering Swapsy doesn't have many cooldowns remaining. Botar predicts the play. He preemptively Ironbarks the Smoke Bomb. Very important. I'm starting to wonder if the Ironbark will be enough on its own. It looks like Blizzo uses Fear. Now Miley's in trouble. He Ironbarks himself, but that's not enough. Blizzo just tears him apart. Wow. The Toxic Youth managed to pull that game back very fast, punishing Miley for staying so close to the fight.
2 beautiful plays by Toxic Youth at the end of that game. Pre-Ironbark on the Smoke Bomb. That is a huge play from Botar. That could have been a lot more trouble on Swapsy. And then Blizzo reflects the Cyclone from Miley and then sets up the kill off it. He didn't have the Displacer Beast to get away, so Miley just going to fall there. And that's a quick 1-0 for Toxic Youth in this series. It actually, I was starting to think that the Yacht Boys were getting some sort of grasp on the game. They got both the DPS trinkets. They caught Botar in a random sheep, so it looked like they were starting to generate some pressure, get some cooldowns out, but then Blizzo with the big plays at the end of that one, the reflect on the Cyclone into the kill. So well played by them. As you can see, so much damage coming out from Toxic Youth.
Yeah, I like the way that Blizzo is using his Fear in this matchup. He was using it very defensively, always making sure that Thasia would sit through a full Fear. So with the preemptive Ironbark on Smoke Bomb and a Fear on Thasia's Adrenaline Rush just stopped any damage. And as soon as Swapsy was able to recover because of that, they could play really aggressive. They could get on top of Miley and ultimately get a kill on him. So I'm going to imagine that Miley's going to be staying a little bit further away from the fight. Towards the middle part of that match, I think there was like 3, maybe 4 Deep Freeze.
They probably won't die like that again. They're probably going to go into dampening and try win the games like that, which we saw them do very successfully in the previous cup.
Yeah, and we can see Tolvaron Arena. This is usually the map that the Rogue Mage Druids go for. It's very big. That way Miley doesn't get caught off guard by those swaps. He'll be able to easily escape with lots of space. Toxic Youth laying down that mushroom. Botar not really pre-hotting his team, and it's interesting that he's decided to play this matchup like this. In the previous matchups, he always pre-hotted and stayed out of stealth, but now he's sitting in stealth and moves very far away from his team. So I'm curious to see how the Yacht Boys are going to respond to that. They're currently in stealth, waiting for a good opportunity, but that Magma Totem might find them. Thasia sneaks by that Magma Totem, gets the sap on Swapsy. I almost want to see them do an opener on Blizzo, maybe commit a kidney shot onto him and try and catch Toxic Youth off guard.
Yeah, their opener is a little bit weird because traditionally you would just see the instant cheap shot onto Blizzo and the sap into kidney on Swapsy. They're not going for that right now. They're allowing Blizzard to run up and pummel the Frostbolt on Gelu. But this is actually quite a nice opener. They get the Cyclone off of the Ring of Frost on Botar, so Swapsy needs to be careful now. This Dawnbolt actually instantly trinketed by Miley. He's not going to trade out his bark skin. That was the Ascendance from Swapsy, so instantly respecting that. Now they're going to swap damage onto Gelu, but Swapsy still in a bit of trouble. NS comes out from Botar. He should be able to survive with that.
Yeah, I'd really like to see a blind here from Thasia. They would be able to get Botar's trinket pretty easily, I would expect, and then they've basically burned all of the major defensives. Blizzo will be the last line of defense at that point. Looks like they're holding on to the blind for now. Now going for that full blind, and Botar immediately trinketing. So now with no blind and no shamanistic rage and no trinket on Botar, they just need to get Blizzo's trinket, and then they might be able to get a kill. This next setup will obviously be looking to get shamanistic rage out of the way, but it's not too much momentum for them right now. Miley's trying to pull back to the center of the map. Blizzo leaps right after him. Blizzo's playing very aggressive here in the middle of the map. Looks like Swapsy's trying to follow up, but he's very reluctant to leave the pillar until that Shaman Rage comes up. Botar preemptively iron barking. They actually swapped to Botar, but he jumped into Bear Farm. He expected the setup, and this should reduce quite a bit of damage, but they're committing a vanish. They just putting his all-in basically into Botar here. Will Botar respond in time? Blizzo's caught into a Cyclone. Swapsy's trying to support him. Botar manages to blink back to the center of the map and escape to safety. Now Thasia getting clotheslined with that Stormbolt. Miley with a close call saves him, but now they immediately swap onto Gelu, and that's the advantages of Toxic's use Turbo Cleave, is that once they see a defensive cooldown on Thasia, they switch to a different target, and that forces Miley to use a lot of mana to heal through it.
Yeah, Toxic Youth are very good at selecting their target in this matchup. Of course, they've had a lot of practice. Actually, a beautiful double fair coming out from Blizzo right now. And Gelu gets locked on, he got locked on Frost and Arcane. He didn't have to snap for that block, I believe, although I could be wrong. If he does, he has no zip blocks available. Down the full sheep onto Botar. Actually, I think he did have to snap for that, so no blocks available for 3 minutes on Gelu.
Wow, this is such a huge lead for Toxic Youth. It looks like Yacht Boys are launching an attack, but really not getting too much done with it. Now Blizzo has completely clotheslined Miley. He's got him caught in a stun. They switch maybe over to Thasia. He's caught into a bash as well, decided not to trinket. Playing kind of greedy there. He's going to get away with it. Miley trying to recover. He's got full hots on Thasia, full hots on himself. Now that Gelu has no Icebox, it's kind of hard to tell, though, for Toxic Youth in that situation, that if he used Cold Snap or not. It's a very hard cooldown to recognize visibly, so they might still think that he has one, so they might not commit to him. Botar caught into a defreeze, but he did preemptively get into Bear Farm. They get the Ring of Frost. Well done. Gelu finally getting some CC out. Now they go for the kidney shot onto Swapsy, but Miley needs to get in here and get a clone onto Botar. That Ring of Frost is fading, gets the clone barely in time, and now Swapsy's in a lot of trouble. Vigilance barely comes out in time. Nice Stormbolt on the killing spree. Blizzo playing that setup perfectly.
Yeah, Blizzo, he could have maybe stopped the Cyclone on Miley. He leaped towards him, but he didn't quite get there in time. That was the only maybe questionable thing there on the side of Toxic Youth, but they survived the setup. They trade out the Vigilance. Botar and Blizzo still have their trinkets available, so they do still have fair few answers. Like you said earlier, it's kind of difficult to recognize whether Gelu has a block or not for them, and but the fact that they're trading out these Iron Barks and using stuff to keep him alive might suggest it to them. Toxic Youth are playing this really well, though. They're definitely punishing the Yacht Boys for this slightly defensive style, and a beautiful Bear Form from Botar. There's no Ring of Frost available, of course, because he used it on the last setup, so that Icy Veins basically goes to waste. They won't be able to follow up CC onto Botar after these Cyclones, assuming they can just stop the follow-up sheep.
Now, that Gouge just put Botar on full polymorph DR. I don't think it's going to matter too much, but they're not going to be able to sneak any sheeps in. Miley caught into a Stormbolt right now, but the Smoke Bomb gets dropped. They make a swap over onto Botar again, and he actually decided to trinket out an Iron Bark himself, which means he will have no trinket for Blind, which I think is available very shortly if they want to try and set up a kill. Maybe they go on him again, but Miley's in trouble. They need to survive to that point. They just trying to peel with these vanished cheap shots. Here's a cheap shot for Blizzo. There's a kidney shot for Swapsy. Miley gets the Breathing Room, goes for the clone. clone. Full deep freeze on Botar. Gelu connects the Ring of Frost. Good CC chain from the Yacht Boys. They force the Shamanistic Rage out from Swapsy. That's the cooldown that they were looking for, but Swapsy doesn't care. He's just charging right at Gelu. Gelu has no blocks. He's down to 28%. Miley is struggling to heal through the damage right now. Botar caught into a full blind. He saps him half out, but I don't think they have enough damage to finish him off. Maybe they switch. I think Thasia might have a kidney shot. He goes for the Garrote Silence instead. Miley moves in, goes for the bash, but the clone will be DR'd if he decides to go for it. Looks like he wants to, but Blizzo shuts him down with the fear. Swapsy's still in trouble. Blizzo charges back to try and save him. Swapsy will survive with no more CC for Botar. Botar looks for a bash on Miley. Not going to risk going for a clone. Does not want to throw the game and get interrupted. Thasia with a nice preemptive combat readiness deflected that Stormbolt very easily as the teams begin to stabilize.
Yeah, I just think the Yacht Boys kind of wasted their go. We talked about the Botar trinketed before the blind. Then they forced the Sham Rage out. They didn't go through the process of winning this game necessarily. Now they're going to try swap it over onto Blizzo. The kidney unfortunately DR'd, so they're probably not going to force too much here. But Gelu now dropping so low. He does have a block available. Will trade that one out. But that is the drink for Miley that they're trading it for. So definitely able to get a little bit of mana here. Now we see the Stormbolt onto Miley. He's still not got too much mana going into dampening, and his entire team is dropping. He's going to have to expend presumably quite a bit of that topping off his team. Thesia's already used his combat readiness. He's in a bit of trouble. Cloak available, uses one Vanish to peel Blizzo, but can they get the CC onto Botar? It doesn't look like it.
Yeah, Botar is hanging very far back, but he shifted out of bear form in the final seconds. Nice gouge on Swapsy's trinket. It stopped him from win-sharing that polymorph. Really well played from Thasia. Maybe they could just kill him right through Shaman Rage if they can keep the chain going, but they drop the chain, and Blizzo with a Stormbolt on Thasia will completely stall out the damage for now. Gelu desperately spamming out some defensive polymorphs. So I'd really like to see the Yacht Boys pull out, start playing defensive, go for a drink, and bait Toxic Youth into the open. They're launching another attack onto Swapsy. Botar sees it coming, gets that Iron Bark up, but even still with the Iron Bark, they just destroying Swapsy. Vigilance and Rallying Cry come out in desperation to keep him going. Will that even be enough? Botar's caught in the deep freeze. Blizzo stops the polymorph. They need to stop CC on Botar if they want to recover. Looks like they've done it. Thasia trinkets out of the bash. He knows he's in danger. Miley into a full fear now. It does break to damage. He blinks away, barely escaping death. Swapsy just going to switch back over onto Gelu. Blizzo intervening now to try and finish off Gelu as well. Gelu has no ice blocks. Thasia used his final evasion, and the Yacht Boys, they're all at 50% HP. Miley has a lot of work ahead of him. He's desperately spamming through the heals. They launch a desperation attack onto Swapsy, but I don't think they're going to get anything done. Botar preemptively shapeshifts the deep, preventing any CC on himself, and now Toxic Youth can just go and be so offensive.
Yeah, they really can. Botar has his trinket available still. There's still the Shamanistic Rage on Toxic Youth. They do have a lot of cooldowns, and Miley is just completely The map is going to hurt them a little bit. We see the blind trinketed out instantly by Botar, but Gelu Bang is taking so much damage, down to 30%. The NS not available for Miley for just a little while, and his mana is so low. He needs to push in for these Cyclones, but he gets charged by Blizzo. He might get punished here. The trinket on the Stormbolt, nicely played by him, but the Ascendants might kill him anyways. 3%, 2%. They're just trying to connect even Botar.
Botar killed him.
He does go down. Blizzo gets the execute ultimately in that bash from Botar, and Toxic Youth are just looking like a completely different team. They're playing so well in these games. Like the Yacht Boys, the problem for them was that they couldn't quite get the kill before, but now they just look so threatening the entire game.
Is Swapsy hacking? He did 10 million damage.
Did a lot of healing
while
as well.
being trained the entire game. How did he do that? I've honestly never seen the enhancement do that much of a difference in damage in this matchup. Like that's actually he's the more than combined of
that, and the Yacht Boys could still pull this series back. I mean, there's no reason why they wouldn't be able to, but there's definitely none of these RMDs can be treated the same when you're playing Turbo, and that's one of the things the Turbos seem to have recognized is, like, against NG Blue, you just play defensive. As long as you survive a few minutes, you're like they're so much more offensive. You'll often land kills, although having said that, NG Blue do normally beat these Turbos these days. The Yacht Boys, however, they like to play for these longer games, and they're very successful. Both RMDs are equally successful with these strategies. It's just completely different ways of playing the game, and ultimately right now, it's not working for the Yacht Boys. They need to either work out a way to survive longer, or they need to be more proficient with these setups earlier in the game.
Yeah, it looks like a preemptive move from Botar here, and the Yacht Boys saw it, and they're just going to wait. They see Botar basically use 3 Force of Nature Trents and Iron Bark, so Botar used those cooldowns on nothing. And that means that the Yacht Boys can now strike and they're going to go after Botar actually in a surprise swap. They're going to get his bark skin out of the way, but they might even get more than that. Teja's committing his vanish. He's going basically all in onto Botar. How are they going to respond to the situation? Blizzo is caught into the clone. Botar's completely alone right now, down to 30%. They managed to get away with a nice double fear from Blizzo. Blizzo using those fears very effectively to keep his team alive.
Yeah, I really like those fears coming out of Blizzo. It's just, I mean, maybe Botar was fine there, but why not make sure of it? He doesn't have to blow the NS, therefore he can just hold on to that cooldown, save it for Swapsy. It's going to be interesting now to see if the Yacht Boys do decide to go back over onto Botar, and that looks like it's going to be what they're doing. They forced the trinket with that swap, so now they have this win condition, which they kind of had last game as well. If they can just kind of, oh, a nice cyclone actually came out onto Miley, so Gellu's going to take some damage here as well. Here's just the block instantly, getting locked on that Arcane School. Will not be able to peel himself. One block forced out by a nice cyclone. Actually, the Ascender's coming out off that. They're trying to get a lot of pressure here. Swapsy going for the kill, forcing Miley to retreat, and now Gellu's kind of been left behind here.
Yep, Gellu is going to have a lot of work kiting his way out of this. He does blink away. Miley using his Iron Bark to reduce a lot of damage. They swapped to Botar, so it looks like the Yacht Boys are looking for a lot of Druid swaps, but on this one, they do manage to get the Bark Skin. They pull the Vigilance out as well, so it seems like the Yacht Boys are kind of putting Toxic Youth on tilt a bit. They forced 2 cooldowns for 1 setup. Killing Spree is still available. Botar has no Trinket. That is a huge opening for the Yacht Boys. All they need to do is get that Shadow Step Kidney Shot to Botar again, and they might be able to just end the game. Gellu looking for some defensive polymorphs, Blizzo getting cloned up. So Yacht Boys are just waiting for that Kidney Shot to come off cooldown for their next attack. Botar is very aggressive right now. He's in the middle of the map. He is in bear form. Maybe he's trying to bait them to go on him while he's in bear form, but I think Botar should expect them to go on him. He does get full rejuves up. He's hiding behind the pillar, jumps in bear. He knows that he should be the target here, and they do make the swap over onto Botar, but he's already in bear form. I don't think they're going to accomplish too much. They only get him down to 70%, and Blizzo with a nicely timed fear will completely stop that swap, and that was really their win condition, and nothing happened.
Yeah, they worked so hard to get the skin down, get the trinket down, but Botar just completely knows it's coming. I mean, they still even had the Vigilance available if they wanted to use it, but they didn't even have to use that, so nicely held by Toxic Youth. They're actually setting up again onto Botar. He doesn't have that trinket available for 18 seconds, so this could potentially be really good swap if they can get the damage, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen. I'm not even too many peels. I'm not sure why he didn't take more damage there, but the Bark Skin just completely answers that Smoke Bomb, and another cooldown wasted kind of on the side of the Yacht Boys, who are falling further and further behind the longer they can't get these big cooldowns out of Botar.
Yeah, Blizzo's been saving his Storm Bolts for Thasia constantly, so whenever the Kidney Shot happens, Blizzo uses his Storm Bolt to stop it. And I guess they're trying to prevent that from happening by going on to Blizzo. Blizzo has no Trinket in this situation. They've got Swapsy controlled, they've got Botar controlled. They're trying to take him down, but still not enough damage. And Blizzo easily trades out his Die by the Sword to go after Miley. They've got Miley caught into the Storm Bolt. I'd really like to see him Bark Skin or Trinket here. He's taking quite a bit of pressure. I guess he gets away with the greedy play, blinks back to the tomb. Looks like a swap onto Botar in this situation. Decides to Trinket out right away to answer the killing spree. I think that was a good reaction as Blizzo was unable to support him. They're actually still just going right through that Iron Bark. Botar could still be in a bit of trouble if they can keep going. Another polymorph on Blizzo, but Thasia now caught into a full bash. Would have liked to see him maybe trigger this. It doesn't look like he needs to. Gellu's doing a good job with these polymorphs on Blizzo, and now full polymorph chain onto Swapsy. I feel like going after Botar is kind of forcing Toxic Youth off an even footing, but the Yacht Boys really still not finding an opening.
Yeah, it's costing them a lot of mana as well. Like, Miley's going to have to go for a drink at some point if they don't get the kill. This is another attempt onto Botar. Kidney in normal form. They're going to force the Bark Skin out this time. So now they do have a reasonable window to get that kill. Actually, if they can get the Deep Freeze onto Blizzo at the same time as the next Kidney Shot, he won't be able to get that Vigilance off, because Vigilance is probably the answer Toxic Youth will be looking for in the next setup, but that won't be available. Swapsy does have his Ascendance for the off-healing, so they do still have some buttons they can press. Botar needs to be very careful, though. He needs to make sure he sits in that bear form. He already has the Treants up, and as you can see, Toxic Youth are able to punish the Yacht Boys. And actually, you blow the Ascendance here. Now the swap onto Botar. This could potentially be the game. The Kidney does come out, but the Deep Freeze onto Blizzo not going to achieve too much just because they couldn't get the damage onto him. He got the bear form. Now a blind onto Blizzo as well. They're really all-inning this play. Blizzo just going to sit right through that one, not really achieving too much on the side of the Yacht Boys.
Yeah, the swaps on Botar are too predictable. He knows it's coming every time. I feel like if the Yacht Boys want to go for this swapping strategy, that Thasia should be playing Subtlety instead of Combat. I feel like Subtlety would play better to the playstyle that they're choosing. Combat is more of a consistent damage spec, and overall they're not doing enough damage to get a kill, so it looks like they're going to try and get one on Blizzo right now, but they have no CC on Swapsy, so he should be able to easily kind of deflect some of this damage with some healing surges here shortly. Botar Botar is still caught in a Ring of Frost. Miley goes for a clone, but Leap Pummel out from Blizzo will shut that down completely. Recklessness now over onto Miley. He's really not responding, barely blinks away from that Colossus smash. That could have been his life. He does manage to escape for now. Looks like Toxic Youth are going to switch their attention to Gelu. They've got him down to half HP. He blinks away. Thasia looks like he's trying to get a re-stealth. He does manage to get that re-stealth, so he goes for the Garrote sounds on the Blizzo. Maybe would like to see a cheap shot there because now he's caught into a Storm Bolt and he's unable to follow up with the kidney shot on Swapsy. Botar predicting some CC, drops those Force of Nature Trents. Those are going to heal quite a bit, but Thasia drops the Smoke Bomb to line of sight them. How much damage can they do? They do manage to get the Shamanistic Rage. This was a fair trade from Swapsy, but maybe an unnecessary one.
Yeah, I mean, he just kind of respected the bomb and pressed the Shamanistic Rage. Like you say, there wasn't much damage on the side of the Op Boys, and they didn't land any CC onto Botar after the Deep Freeze, so he could have maybe held onto that one. They still have a lot of cooldowns, though, so you probably just wanted to play it safe, and they have so much pressure as well. There are blocks available onto Gelu, but Miley is going to be the main target. The Fear comes out, block now as well. He gets charged down on 20%. Is he going to fall? He barely gets the heals off. I'm not entirely sure what that heal was. It must have been the NS, I suppose, but he's still in a lot of trouble. Cheap shot from Blizzard. He actually trinkets out of that one, pops the Blade Storm. They have so much pressure. There's no way Miley can out-heal both of them, surely, dampening at 10%. The DR cheap shot onto Blizzo. They're trying desperately to peel, and they might actually succeed here. If the Op Boys can stabilize, Miley, he's so low mana, so it's going to be really difficult. Another charge done onto him. Stormbolt full, he's going to go down here. This is surely the end of the game. Full blind onto Blizzo, though. 10% the Shadow Meld. He is actually going to get out of this one.
I can't believe that he got out of that alive. That blind from Thasia will keep him in the match. The kidney shot Blizzo out of the blind. It would have been amazing if they had Smoke Bomb for this. Unfortunately, they used it earlier. Botar caught in a bash. Miley looking for a Cyclone. He's afraid of getting interrupted. They actually go for the Ring of Frost first instead. Looks like they're committing a lot of their pressure on Blizzo, but I don't think it's going to result in the kill. Miley just gets crushed. He has no cooldowns left. He blinked in aggressively, got punished hard, and Toxic Youth look like a completely different team in this matchup, man. They went from losing to every RMD to 3-0ing the Yacht Boys.
Yeah, that was a very commanding 3-0. And again, you look at the damage. Swapsy and Blizzo just doing so much. And Blizzo, one of the things, he's been doing a lot of things slightly differently to how they used to do it. The Fears is one thing we've definitely picked up on. And also the Stormbolts. He's always Stormbolting the Rogue on the Sabs. Well, not always, but the majority of the time. And the thing about that is the fact that he's using his Fears and Stormbolts to survive, it will hurt his uptime just a little bit. Because, of course, if he Stormbolts the Druid when he wants to do a swap to him, he has 100% uptime, presumably, during the Stormbolt. So he does lose a bit of damage for it, but it's certainly helping Toxic Youth just be fine the majority of the game, and that's what's enabling them to play so offensively. And this is 3 games in a row they've taken against such a strong RMD, the RMD that just 3-0'd NG Blue, and they're through to the Grand Finals. They've guaranteed a 2-0.
Yep, it's
top 2.
looking very impressive from Toxic Youth. A much bigger improvement from them against this specific kind of setup. So well played to Toxic Youth. They will be moving into the Grand Finals to battle for first place. But of course, they're going to need an opponent. So jumping down into the losers bracket, it will be Team Snakes versus Northern Gaming Blue. Joe Fernandez versus Min Poike. These guys hate each other. They hate each other. I'm just saying that. I don't actually know, but yeah, they are rivals. So if NG Blue loses here, I would expect them to be kind of disappointed. I know that they've really wanted to perform and take first, obviously. Like, this team is the highest rated team in the world. They want to show that they are one of the best teams, but they haven't been able to prove it in these qualifiers. They've managed to make it to top 8, and I would imagine that they want to come back and win the entire thing to show that they've still got it.
Yeah, I completely agree. And one of their very strong matchups has been against the Turbo Cleave in the past. So we already commented on this a little bit. This is going to be a really tough game for Snakes. But Joe Fernandez, I was talking to him obviously a lot throughout the last week, and he said that when he plays with Jamie, he also has great success against RMD. So we'll have to see if he can emulate what Toxic Youth have managed in this particular series against NG Blue. Even if NG Blue do go through the series, they're going to have to meet the Yacht Boys again. And maybe that's something that's really motivating them. I think that both these teams, despite having already qualified, must have so much motivation to get through this lower bracket, because Joe, Jamie, and Lian will not want to see Toxic Youth just